Alright guys, I'm just at the range here kind of messing around. Honestly, I'm really bored. I'm really bored. Can't go to work. So finished up my morning meetings today, and what the heck. We had a 36-degree day out here and the sun's out, so I couldn't resist. Anyways, I'm here at the range with the 204. I've been running this thing during fur taker season here, for foxes, coyotes, occasional coon. And honestly, I probably have between 150, 180 rounds through this thing, and I haven't cleaned it. So I wanted to do that today. And the reason why I wasn't cleaning it is because it's been shooting so well, I didn't want to mess with it. But got some downtime here, and I can spend a little time at the range here getting this thing, kind of going, making sure my confidence is there and stuff. So that's what I'm doing. But I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about this new scope, okay? So I already did a video this year at the start of the season on my night vision setup and all that. And before I had a Sightmark Wraith HD. It was a 4-32 by 50. And that's been replaced with this, which is a Sightmark Wraith 4K Mini, okay? So what's the differences? Why did I switch? Well, I switched because number one reason I think is the resolution on the HD is really not that good. All right, once you get about to 8 to 12 power, that's really usably, that's about all you can actually use, in my opinion. After you go over that, your picture in the scope just becomes just a grainy mess. It's really hard to see much of anything over 8 or 12 power. The other thing is the base magnification on the HD, right, the 4-32 is 4x, and although that magnification's okay, the field of view in that scope is so small. It's sometimes it's really hard to get your target in the scope. You can't find it, right? Especially at night when things are moving and stuff. It just is really difficult. It can be really difficult. So the third thing that the reason why it kind of pushed me to get rid of that thing was the weight. Okay, it's a very heavy scope. So I sold that scope to a friend of mine. I gave him a good deal on that, and then added a little bit of money to it and bought this thing. So this 4K Mini you can get for about $800. All right. So, and this is probably the finest night vision scope that I've read about, tried to learn about, asked people about. Everybody loves this 4K Mini. Okay, they make a 4K Max also, which is a large scope like the HD, but with the 4K camera in it. All right, so 4K Mini, let's talk about that really quick. It's only 6 inches long. The whole thing is only 6 inches long, and instead of having an aluminum frame to it, it's got a plastic, like I think thermal plastic, like a Glock frame. Okay, so it's much lighter, much lighter. It's got the 4K camera in it, so you get 4 times the resolution, 4 times the number of pixels. Base magnification on this is 2x, so your field of view is much better. And I think this is a 2-12. I don't know, I never take it up past like 4 or 6, that much. So, but unless I'm trying to ID something, I'll go all the way up, and you can still see pretty good up there. So it's not too bad. Resolution is much better. Weight is much better. It comes with a couple additional features that I kind of like. It actually has a focus adjustment ring on it, right, and this little knob here, which on the HD I never adjusted my focus unless I thought about it really hard. For the most part, I would just shoot stuff and it'd be blurry, because I always have gloves on, right? It's freezing in the middle of the night, and that ring is like really tough to get at, especially when you've got everything else going on, like running calls and all that. But I didn't think much of this, but I use this all the time. It's because it's so easy. You just get the thing in focus and you're good to go. right? So that's a nice feature. It has a built-in scope cap on it, which I appreciate, because I was always filling up my HD with snow, right? When it was really coming down, that thing would kind of fill up once in a while. So that's kind of nice. It does run off of, you can put batteries in this thing, all right? The HD ran on 4 AA's. This runs on 2 CR 123As, which in my opinion, if you're gonna run it for any length of time, forget it. Forget the batteries. I don't care. You know, people say, oh, get rechargeable batteries, they'll last much longer. No, they don't. They're not really not that good, okay? They're not that much different. So anyways, how I run this thing is I still run the same external battery pack that I had before. And I turn this scope on at the beginning of the night, and I don't shut it off until I get to the house, okay? And I have to charge this external battery pack like once a week. This thing is amazing. It is amazing, and these scopes will eat your batteries down, okay? So external battery pack for me. Now, if you were going to go out hunting and, you know, you're just going to turn the scope on, because it has a 3-second uptime, right? You hit the button, it takes 3 seconds, and then boom, your reticle's up and it's there, right? If you can live with just turning it on and off between shots or whatever, then batteries are fine for that. But like me, I got this thing on a tripod, I'm running calls, I got people hunting with me, I'm trying to keep track of everything, you're scanning with your thermal. I don't want to have to do it's just one less thing I got to do. I'm not going to turn the scope on and wait. You know, sometimes you can't wait. That 3 seconds actually seems like forever when you got a fox just, you know, cooking it to the call, you know. Anyways, that's the 4K Mini. A lot of advantages with this thing. Again, these Sightmark products, Sightmark Wraith scopes, are a great way to get in the game for night vision under $1,000. Now, probably what will happen with this scope is, and I've literally had this thing for maybe a month or two, all right? I'll probably sell this thing to somebody, right? Or trade it in and probably go thermal next year. Because again, you still have to use, you know, the IR illuminator for this scope because it's night vision. The downside, right? There's good things and there's bad things about this. I'll tell you what though, Sightmark almost got it perfect on this, in my opinion. So Sightmark, if you're watching, I can tell, I mean, everybody knows that these are kind of developed for kind of AR platforms, but I'm not running this on an AR platform. And the problem that we have, and the thing that people dislike about these probably the most, is this plug right here. This plug sticks out a long way, and it's on the bolt side, okay? So when you've got gloves on and stuff, and you're done, you know, you're trying to cycle this thing, you come up here and you run into this thing. Some guys have bent this, some guys have busted these off. Because of the location, you know, you can put a magnetic USB connector here, but then when you cycle the bolt, if you hit that, you knock it off, you got to put it back on while you're trying to, you know, sometimes for a follow-up shot or to get a double or triple going, and that just ruins it, right? This is on the wrong side. So if we can get this if we can relocate this to the other side or on the top, on the bottom, somehow, some way to get it out of the way of people's bolts. Now, I would, you know, put it on the other side would get in the way of the left-handed guy, but you already got the batteries over there. So maybe the plug could be moved for the Gen 2 version of this, if there is one. But that's really it. This scope is awesome. I'm not unhappy with this thing at all. Menu is exactly the same as the HD, which I am totally happy with because I thought that HD menu was awesome. It's really easy to use. All your reticle colors, all that stuff, all of your record, you know, setting 0 and all that stuff, it's all the same. It's all the same. I already knew how to use it, so putting this thing on here and firing it up, it all looked the same to me, except it was much higher resolution. The 4Ks do come with first focal plane reticles in there too. They come with an MOA and a mil dot first focal plane reticles, which is kind of cool. Probably try that out a little bit in the summer in day mode. Unfortunately, when you're at 2, 4, 6 power, something like that, those reticles are so skinny you can't see anything. You can hardly see the reticle at all. So you really have to have the thing zoomed all the way in to take full advantage of the first focal plane. But hey, at least you have the option for that. So again, if you're in the market for entry-level night vision, HD, you can get an HD for 500 bucks now. Okay, maybe it's 450, 500 bucks. I'd save a little bit more money and I would get one of these minis. I would definitely buy this thing again. This is a great scope. So anyways, season's coming to an end. I've got a whole bunch of footage from hunting this winter on these scopes. So once we're all done, we'll have to put something together here and see what we come up with. But anyways, that's where I'm at. What else can you do when you've got the freaking Corona blues, man? Go to the range and have some fun, right? So, all right, thanks for watching, guys.